This is the former border crossing between East and West Germany at Helmstedt-Marienborn. Until the end of the 1980s, each year millions of travelers went through this area. In this video, we'll explore the border crossing area that lost its function with the reunification of Germany in 1990. The border crossing Marienborn was the biggest and most important border crossing of the German Democratic Republic. 2/3 of all traffic to Berlin, which is only 170 kilometers away, passed this border crossing. In the 1980s, the border staff working here handled 5 to 6 million travelers a year. The area, as it is preserved, contains the main part of the border crossing buildings and facilities as it existed from 1974, when its construction was finished, till 1990. The part of the outbound traffic, so for the vehicles leaving East Germany, does not exist anymore. The original size of the site was 34 hectares, almost 85 acres. The diagonal position of the complex was designed on purpose in order to have a good overview from the command tower, limiting the number of blind spots. At night, the whole area was brightly illuminated. Mainly because of this, the amount of electricity used was as much as that of a small city. The site had its own power plant that would enable the whole complex to function for 8 hours when electricity would have been cut. A secret underground tunnel system with a total length of 4 kilometers could be used in cases of emergency, also in case of a military attack from the west. 14 tunnel entries and exits connected the most important locations of the complex. The border crossing was under main responsibility of the Ministry of State Security, also called the MFS or Stasi. More than 1,000 people worked at the border crossing so-called armed organs, and more than 600 of them worked for the Stasi. The commanding officer was an officer of the border troops and had the overall responsibility of the border crossing. He was responsible for the cooperation between the armed organs, customs, state security and the border troops. In daily operation, the border troops played only a minor role. All controls on travelers, their luggage and vehicles were done by the customs and state security. By the way, the state security staff were wearing border patrol uniforms as a disguise. There also was a border crossing point at the West German side, the Helmstedt side. This location was smaller and has not been preserved. Interesting fact, compared to East Germany, the West German border personnel was heavily outnumbered. In case of an emergency, West German protection would not have been able to give resistance. But also staffing at the East German side was problematic. There was a continuous shortage of personnel, which resulted in lots of overhours and unhappy staff that also was under pressure because they had to have as much as possible successes, such as confiscating Western propaganda and of course catching fugitives. The Marienborn border crossing generated millions each year for the East German state. Until 1972, the transit travelers needed to pay 5 Deutsche Mark for the use of the Autobahn, the motorway, to West Berlin, but as of June 1972, the Transitabkommen, transit agreement, came into force. The German Democratic Republic had promised facilitation of travel, which included that travelers did not have to pay a fee anymore. For this relaxation, West Germany had paid a lump sum of 235 million marks. This amount was increased several times over the years, being 860 million mark in 1989. The Marienborn border area was closed on June 30th, 1990, the day before the monetary union in Germany. It is now a museum and can be visited 7 days a week. I will leave a link below.